Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Crowdfunding Coverage, our monthly recap of what happens in the crowdfunding space, brought to you by Kickstarter Coaching and the Space Finance Group. Today we'll be talking about October of 2016. In October, there were 11 big campaigns that raised $850,000 or more, and these big campaigns collectively brought in $24 million. The biggest campaign was the Fidget Cube, which brought in $6.5 million, and we'll talk about that later in our broadcast. And we'll be talking about 8 of the big campaigns in addition to the news. So our first news item is from Indiegogo, that they are now going to be accepting credit card payments for their fixed funding campaigns. They've accepted various funding in the past, but now they're going to be offering credit cards for the fixed funding campaigns. So this will be more convenient to many backers of those campaigns. On equity crowdfunding, in May, when all this began, there were 10 equity crowdfunding platforms by the end of May. Since then, another 7 have come online for a total of 17 as of the end of October. So as with all new industries, there's a question about how many different platforms can the industry sustain. So in most cases, there's a shakeout period that gradually come down to some small number of leaders in the space, and time will tell who those are, but at least we are up to 17 platforms, so at the moment there's a good choice of people to run your equity crowdfunding campaign on. In Kickstarter, they announced a new feature in their rewards. In the rewards, they have had the functionality previously that you can limit a reward to a certain number of backers that can take the reward and then it's gone. This new feature allows a time factor as well for rewards. Like you could have a reward that's only good for a week and then it's all gone. So this is more flexibility for the creators that are putting their campaign together. And we'll certainly address a few problems, so good for Kickstarter for bringing that online. The Smithsonian organization is running another campaign. You might recall that they had a campaign for Neil Armstrong's spacesuit that brought in a lot of money. Now another department or another branch of the Smithsonian Empire is running a Kickstarter campaign that has to do with the Wizard of Oz and the ruby slippers that Dorothy wore in the Wizard of Oz so long ago. And they rapidly raised $300,000 in their campaign on our way to raising more than that. The reason I flag it for your attention is that I think it is significant that organizations like the Smithsonian are using crowdfunding for their funding needs. Amazon is embracing Kickstarter projects and the crowdfunding culture by making a section on Amazon that's focused on successful Kickstarter products. So there's a place on Amazon where you can go and see things that got their creation through Kickstarter, and now that they are funded and operational, you can buy those things through Amazon. So good for Amazon and Jeff Bezos for supporting Kickstarter. WeFunder, the leading organization in equity crowdfunding, made some news late in the month by deciding to accept Bitcoin. They are, as far as I'm aware, the only equity crowdfunding platform to take Bitcoin as payments. And so this is certainly preferential to certain people that deal with Bitcoin. If you have Bitcoin, you want to buy things with your Bitcoin. So they are doing that, and they're also saying that they have a good pipeline of future deals for equity crowdfunding. So thumbs up to WeFunder, good job. They are the leader in equity crowdfunding. Next, we had a little bit of a milestone for these very early days of equity crowdfunding, that by the end of October, we passed $10 million of equity crowdfunding campaigns funded. So good news for WeFunder and all the other players in this early stage of the equity crowdfunding game. So the big campaigns. We'll talk about 8 of them. All the campaigns that we're going to talk about raised over $1 million. The range was from roughly 1 million to 6.5 million. The length of the videos was 1 minute 40 seconds to 5 minutes. I usually recommend 2 to 3 minute duration for this sort of thing. The campaign duration ran from 30 to 50 days. 30 days is sort of the general wisdom for a good length of time for your campaign to be running. The reward levels were fairly reasonable, from 10 to 20 different rewards for each campaign. So nobody got themselves in trouble with a 70 reward campaign or something. And people were reasonably good with their updates. 4 to 19 updates so far from these campaigns. I usually think that at least 1 a week is where you want to be. Ideally 2 a week. So the 4 is a little bit on the skimpy side, but 19 seems very conscientious. So the campaigns themselves. First campaign was minimalist watches. This is a line of watches of high quality, good materials, and their approach is we're going to make these, we're going to sell them direct and cut out all the middleman steps, and this will help us have good prices. So some of the things that they did in their campaign is they had a button to visit them online, to go straight to their website. They had a nice variety of watches in their campaign, different styles, different sizes, different colors. Give your backers a choice if you possibly can. Also, they have their email address right there in the campaign. So easy to get a hold of them and let them know what you like or don't like about their campaign or any requests, and keep those communication lines open. So that's very good. The next campaign was the Solo Stove Bonfire. The people behind this have done other campaigns making a small camping stove equipment. This is, as the name would suggest, a much larger unit to have like a bonfire in your backyard, using the same basic design of the small units that they use for campers who want to cook. So some of the things in their campaign was they had the gifts, which allowed them to show things in a different way, those little mini videos. They had a nice explanatory diagram explaining why their product works well, the airflow of their unique design. And they offered a lifetime guarantee. Whenever you are entering into an industry, people don't know you, you don't have a big reputation, anything you can do to give them comfort is in your interest to do, and certainly a lifetime guarantee helps to address that. So, neat product. Next, you have the Voyager Golden Record. For those of you who are not space fans, like I'm certainly a space fan, you might not be aware of the Voyager space missions, early space probes that were sent out to take our first look at the outer planets of our solar system. And now these space probes are beyond our solar system and moving out. And one of the things that they had on them on those space probes was golden records to try to tell any other civilization that might eventually find them who humanity was or is, a little bit about us, and music, math, and other things. So we sent out these golden records out beyond our solar system. So these people, like, recreated the golden records. They put some really, really nice packaging around the records themselves to dress it up and make it really fancy. They offered multi-unit rewards, so you could buy 5 at a time if you wanted to. And they said they would donate 20% of their profits. This is a good strategy to devote some portion of your profits to some worthy cause, because it gets more people in your corner, and it certainly sounds good to the backer. 20% is pretty high. You know, I've seen it like 1% of sales or different numbers. The idea, I think, is sound, to pick out something that's a good cause and support it with some portion of your revenues or your profit. This next campaign was kind of neat. We've all been on our cell phone in a noisy environment and had a hard time hearing what's going on. And this idea addresses that. It is a wristband that you wear sort of like your watch, and it puts vibrations through the tip of your finger. So if you just touch the finger to your ear, it somehow makes it crystal clear hearing regardless of the background noise wherever you happen to be. So very sci-fi, futuristic, a neat idea. They raised a lot of money with their idea. Some of the things they did in their campaign is they had multiple early birds, giving people substantial discounts for being among the first people to stand up and support the thing. They also had detailed diagrams and specifications that they included because, as far as I know, nobody's ever done anything quite like this before, so they wanted to show how it worked and this sort of thing and to demonstrate it. They also had supplemental videos where you could sort of watch people using it and see it being tested and hear the sound quality and this sort of thing. So that's the Signal. A really neat idea. The Adventure Hoodie is next. This is a hoodie with aspirations to be a Swiss Army knife. Lots of pockets and features and bottle openers and different things on their hoodie to help you cope with whatever life sends your direction. A little bit of a sort of a James Bond hoodie sort of a thing. This campaign had several stretch goals that they used to keep adding features and colors and so forth as the campaign grew. They had some nice graphics about the features to show you what the special things are that you get or that you have at your disposal if you're wearing an adventure hoodie. And they had multiple orders scattered throughout the main body of their campaign, buy now, scattered through their text. This, I think, is useful if you think you're going to have a lot of people at your campaign that haven't backed a Kickstarter before, so they may not be sure of the mechanism of where they go to decide to support the thing, so that that's sort of overcome by these buy now buttons. This next campaign, called Sisyphus, I thought was really, really cool. One of the neater campaigns that I've seen lately, and it's very, very hard to describe. Go to Kickstarter, pull up the campaign, look at the video. It's more of a visual thing, but imagine a coffee table with a glass top on it with like sand beneath the glass top and a big stainless steel ball bearing or something. And there's like magnets beneath the table that slowly move the ball, and it makes patterns constantly through this sand that's beneath the surface of the table. It looks really, really cool. So go have a look for yourself. I'm not doing it justice. But the campaign, some of the things they did, they had the tables in multiple sizes and colors. This gives the buyer, again, a choice of the look of the thing and the size of the thing and the price of the thing. Give them a choice when you can. They had supplemental videos to help show some of the different attributes of this thing. They had a nice time-lapse video that was very helpful. And they had a link to press materials so that the press could find easily what they might want to help get the word out about the campaign, high-resolution images, and whatever the press might need. They gathered that together and made it easy for the press to access it. Next, we have the Purple Pillow. Their theme is that pillows are not really designed very well, and they've come up with a better idea for the pillow so you can get a good night's sleep. And they have various reasons that they think theirs is better, and it seemed to make sense to me in reading the thing over. But they had an area on their campaign that graphically showed all the different rewards that were offered. They had an area where they talked about the company's history. They got its start on Kickstarter. I think it was a year or two ago that they got their first product out. And they had a reward that was Christmas delivery. So if your goal was to have the thing in time for Christmas, you could pick a reward that was the focus of it, expedited handling and getting it out the door so you could have it for Christmas. The big campaign of the month was the Fidget Cube. This is for the people that they're always clicking their pens and tapping their feet and everything. This is like a little plaything so that it keeps them busy while they're being a student or in a big meeting at the office, so they don't do these other distracting activities. So they play with this Fidget Cube. Some of the things they did is they had multiple back to project buttons, like I mentioned in the earlier campaign. Different buttons scattered around, so it would be very obvious to people, oh, I want to do this, I want to buy this, here, click here, and it takes them into the regular buying area. They had a funny video. Now, not everybody can pull this off, but their video was funny, and I think that really helped their campaign a lot. And they had unit rewards up to 80 units. People that have been paying attention to Kickstarter for a longer amount of time know that they used to have a cap on how many units you could offer of 10. So these people offered 80. So obviously that's more than 10. So have in your mind, if you have an affordable item that you think people might buy in bulk for whatever reason, you can do that now. Digicube, over $6 million for this little toy. That's it for our show covering October of 2016. We'll be back in roughly a month talking about November. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you next time. Take care.